The year 2026 opens like a forge being lit in the depths of winter's embrace, and for you, magnificent Aries, this moment carries the weight of cosmic intention. As the calendar turns its ancient pages, you stand at the threshold of what promises to be your most transformative year yet. The ember that stirs within your soul is no ordinary flame. It is the sacred fire of beginnings, the primordial spark that ignited the very first star in the darkness of space. In these opening weeks of January, as frost still clings to window panes and breath mists in the morning air, something profound awakens within the chambers of your heart. It begins as a whisper, then grows to a murmur, and finally erupts into a roar that echoes through every fiber of your being. This is the call of your truest nature, the ram that has been quietly gathering strength through winter's contemplative silence, preparing for a charge that will reshape the landscape of your existence. The ember's glow reveals more than just the promise of warmth. It illuminates the architecture of dreams that have been sketched in shadow throughout the previous year. Those half-formed visions that danced at the edges of your consciousness now step forward into the light, wearing robes of possibility and crowns of potential. Each flicker of the flame shows you glimpses of the leader you're destined to become, the pioneer you've always been, and the warrior whose time has finally come. This awakening is not gentle. Aries energy never is. It arrives like lightning splitting the sky, sudden and brilliant and impossible to ignore. You feel it in your bones, this stirring of ancient power. Your hands itch for action, your feet yearn to run toward horizons you've never seen, and your heart pounds with the rhythm of a drum calling warriors to battle. But this is no ordinary conflict you're preparing for. This is the beautiful, necessary war against mediocrity, against settling for less than the magnificent life you were born to claim. The winter landscape around you mirrors the transformation occurring within. Where others see barren trees and frozen earth, you perceive potential. Each bare branch is a reaching hand, ready to burst with spring's verdant offerings. Every patch of snow-covered ground is a blank canvas, waiting for the masterpiece of growth that will unfold when the seasons turn. This ability to see possibility where others see emptiness, to find fire where others find only ash, this is your gift, your burden, and your glory. As the ember grows stronger with each passing day, it begins to cast shadows that tell stories of the future. These shadows dance across the walls of your consciousness, showing you scenes of triumph, moments of breakthrough, and the sweet satisfaction of goals achieved through sheer force of will and unshakable determination. You see yourself standing at the summit of challenges that currently loom large as mountains, having conquered them not through luck or chance, but through the application of your natural Aries gifts, courage, initiative, and an unmatched capacity for taking action when others hesitate. The awakening brings with it a clarification of vision that cuts through the fog of uncertainty that may have clouded your path in recent months. Suddenly, the way forward becomes not just visible but blindingly obvious. The ember's light acts as a beacon, illuminating not just where you need to go, but revealing the strength you possess to get there. This is your moment of recognition. The profound understanding that you have always carried within you everything necessary for your success. In the quiet hours of these January mornings, when the world still sleeps and you find yourself stirring with energy that demands expression, pay attention to the messages your ember whispers. These are not random thoughts or fleeting fancies. They're communications from your highest self, your most authentic nature breaking through the constructs of doubt and limitation that may have constrained you. The ram knows no such limitations. The ram sees an obstacle and finds a way through, over, or around it. The ram faces the unknown with eagerness rather than fear. The ember's warmth begins to melt away layers of conditioning that have accumulated like ice over time. Perhaps you've grown cautious where you once were bold. Perhaps you've learned to wait for permission where you once simply acted. Perhaps you've accepted someone else's definition of what's possible for your life instead of writing your own. The awakening burns away these accumulated misconceptions, revealing the pure gold of your original nature beneath. This period of emergence is accompanied by a heightened sensitivity to opportunity. Your Aries intuition, always keen, becomes razor sharp. You begin to notice doors opening that you hadn't seen before, conversations that carry unexpected promise, and coincidences that feel more like divine appointments than random occurrences. The Ember's light doesn't just illuminate your internal landscape, it acts as a magnet, drawing toward you the people, circumstances, and possibilities that align with your awakening purpose. The awakening also brings an urgency that is both exhilarating and demanding. Once you've seen what's possible, once you've felt the stirring of your true power, there's no going back to sleep. The Ember won't allow it. It burns with increasing intensity, demanding that you rise to meet the magnitude of what's calling you. This urgency isn't the frantic rushing of anxiety. It's the purposeful haste of a soul that recognizes its moment has arrived. Your relationships begin to reflect this internal shift. Those who resonate with your awakening energy will be drawn closer, while those who cannot match your rising vibration may naturally fall away. This isn't cruel or calculated. It's simply the natural result of your authentic self asserting its truth. The Ember burns away pretense and reveals the raw honesty that defines true Aries energy. People will either love this honesty or be challenged by it, and both responses serve the purpose of aligning you with those who can truly support your journey. The physical world begins to mirror your internal awakening as well. You may find yourself drawn to new environments, feeling constrained by spaces that once felt comfortable. Your body craves movement, challenge, and new experiences. Your mind demands stimulation and growth. Your spirit yearns for adventure and meaningful risk. These aren't random desires. They're the Ember calling you toward the experiences that will forge you into the person you're meant to become. As January progresses and the Ember grows from spark to steady flame, you begin to understand that this awakening isn't just about the year ahead, it's about the rest of your life. The patterns you establish now, the choices you make in these crucial early weeks, will ripple forward through time like stones thrown into still water. The Ember is asking you to be deliberate, to be conscious, to step fully into your power rather than tiptoeing around its edges. The awakening brings clarity about what truly matters and what has been merely distraction. The Ember's light reveals the difference between motion and progress, between busyness and productivity, between dreaming and creating. This discernment becomes one of your greatest assets as you move through 2026, allowing you to focus your considerable energy on endeavors worthy of your fire. In moments of doubt, and they will come, for doubt is often courage's shadow, return to the Ember. Feel its warmth. Remember its message. Trust in its promise. The awakening that begins your 2026 journey is not a one-time event but an ongoing process of becoming. Each day offers new opportunities to fan the flames, to feed the fire, to honor the magnificent force that stirs within you. The Ember's dawn awakening is your invitation to step fully into your role as the pioneer of your own life story. No more waiting for the perfect moment, the right circumstances, or someone else's permission. The Ember burns now. The time is now. The power is yours, has always been yours, and awaits only your decision to claim it. As winter slowly releases its grip and hints of spring begin to whisper in the wind, remember that you carry within you the power to create your own seasons of growth. The Ember that awakens in these early days of 2026 is your eternal flame, your unquenchable fire, your birthright as an Aries warrior stepping boldly into the arena of possibility. This is your dawn. This is your awakening. This is your year to burn bright and illuminate not just your own path, but to become a beacon of inspiration for every soul ready to answer the call of their own ember's awakening fire. February arrives like a paradox wrapped in mystery, carrying within its shortened days the most profound lessons about the nature of love that you, fierce Aries, will learn in all of 2026. While the world around you remains locked in winter's crystalline grip, something extraordinary begins to stir within the chambers of your heart, a fire so intense, so pure, that it transforms the very coldness surrounding it into fuel for its own magnificent blaze. This is not the gentle warmth of a spring romance or the lazy heat of summer passion. This is love forged in the crucible of contrast, tempered by adversity, and made unbreakable through the very challenges that would extinguish lesser flames. As an Aries, your heart has always burned with the intensity of a warrior's courage, but in February 2026, that flame undergoes a transformation so complete that you will emerge from this month fundamentally changed in how you understand, express, and receive love. The frost that surrounds you serves not as an obstacle but as a mirror, reflecting back the true nature of your inner fire. Against the backdrop of winter's stark beauty, your capacity for love reveals itself in ways both surprising and inevitable. You discover that your heart, like the mythical phoenix, actually grows stronger when faced with the elements that would seem to threaten its existence. The colder the wind, the brighter your flame burns. The deeper the frost, the more profound your warmth becomes. In the realm of romantic love, February brings revelations that shake the very foundation of what you thought you knew about partnership and devotion. If you're in a relationship, this month strips away the comfortable assumptions and surface-level connections, revealing the molten core of authentic intimacy that lies beneath. The winter winds blow away pretense, leaving only truth in their wake. You and your partner find yourselves in conversations that cut straight to the heart of what matters, sharing vulnerabilities that might never have surfaced in gentler seasons. This exposure isn't comfortable. Nothing about Aries love ever is, but it's necessary and ultimately transformative. The frost forces you both to huddle closer to the fire of your connection, and in that closeness, you discover depths of feeling and understanding that surprise even your passionate nature. Arguments that might have seemed insurmountable in warmer months reveal themselves to be merely the striking of flint against steel, creating sparks that ignite even greater intimacy and connection. For single Aries, February 2026 presents a different but equally powerful awakening. The contrast between winter's isolation and your inner fire creates a magnetic pull that draws toward you souls who are also burning bright in the darkness. These aren't the fair weather companions of easier seasons. These are fellow warriors, fellow fire bearers, people whose hearts can match the intensity of your own flame without being consumed by it. The meetings that occur during this time carry an otherworldly quality, as if the universe itself is conspiring to bring together hearts that can truly withstand each other's heat. Conversations flow with an urgency born of recognition. The knowledge that you've found someone whose inner fire doesn't compete with yours but dances alongside it, creating a blaze that illuminates both your paths without diminishing either flame. But romantic love is only one facet of the heart's fire that burns so brilliantly against February's frost. Your capacity for friendship deepens and intensifies during this period, revealing friendships that are not mere social connections but soul alliances forged in the fires of mutual respect and understanding. The superficial acquaintances fall away like autumn leaves, while true friendships emerge from the winter landscape like evergreens, strong, enduring, and beautiful precisely because they can survive the harshest conditions. Family relationships undergo their own transformation in the crucible of this month's energy. The Aries' tendency toward independence often creates distance between you and those who share your blood, but February's frost creates a different dynamic. The external coldness drives you to seek warmth in connections that run deeper than choice or preference, the bonds that exist simply because they must, because they were forged in the fires of shared history and mutual belonging. Old resentments that have festered like infected wounds find healing in the antiseptic cold of truth. Conversations that have been avoided for years suddenly become not just possible but necessary. The fire in your heart burns away the accumulated debris of misunderstanding and hurt, leaving clear pathways for genuine connection and reconciliation. Family members who have seemed like strangers begin to reveal themselves as allies you never knew you had. The most profound aspect of February's heart fire, however, is the love you develop for yourself during this transformative month. Aries often struggles with self-acceptance, being naturally inclined to focus on the next goal, the next challenge, the next mountain to climb. But the winter frost creates a forced stillness that allows you to turn that fierce gaze inward and truly see, perhaps for the first time, the magnificent creature you have become. This self-love isn't the shallow self-regard of narcissism or the desperate self-promotion of insecurity. It's the deep, abiding appreciation that comes from recognizing your own strength, your own beauty, your own worth. You begin to love yourself the way you love others, completely, passionately, without reservation or condition. You start to defend your own heart with the same fierce protection you offer to those you care about. The frost outside your window becomes a teacher, showing you that strength and beauty can coexist, that harshness and tenderness are not opposites but dance partners in the grand ballet of existence. You learn to appreciate your own sharp edges not as flaws to be softened but as facets that catch and reflect light in ways that smooth surfaces never could. Your intensity becomes not a burden to be borne but a gift to be celebrated. Professional relationships and creative partnerships also feel the transformative power of February's heart fire. Collaborations that seemed impossible in warmer months suddenly become not just feasible but inevitable. The clarity that comes from winter's harsh honesty strips away the political niceties and social lubricants that often obscure genuine connection in business settings. You find yourself working with people who appreciate your directness, your passion, and your refusal to compromise on matters that truly matter. Creative projects begun or continued during this period carry an intensity and authenticity that marks them as distinctly different from work produced in gentler seasons. The fire in your heart burns away the need to please everyone, the desire to fit in, the temptation to water down your vision for the sake of broader appeal. What emerges is art, writing, music, or innovation that bears the unmistakable signature of a heart that knows its own truth and isn't afraid to express it. The spiritual dimensions of love also undergo profound transformation during February's frosty embrace. Your connection to the divine, to the universe, to the mysterious forces that guide and shape existence, deepens into something that feels less like belief and more like direct experience. The fire in your heart becomes a direct line of communication with the source of all love, all creation, all possibility. Prayer takes on new meaning and power during this time. Meditation becomes less about emptying the mind and more about filling it with the fierce love that flows through you like molten gold. Your spiritual practice, whatever form it takes, becomes charged with the same intensity that characterizes all your February encounters with love. The month also brings unexpected opportunities for service and compassion that allow your heart fire to warm others who are struggling in the winter cold. Random acts of kindness become spontaneous expressions of the love that fills you to overflowing. Charitable work or volunteer activities that might have felt obligatory in other seasons become sources of joy and fulfillment, ways of sharing the abundance of love that burns within you. As February draws to its close, you realize that the frost has not diminished your fire but refined it. The love you feel, for others, for yourself, for life itself, burns cleaner and brighter than ever before. The challenges and contrasts of the month have served as a bellows, fanning your heart's flame to new heights of intensity and purity. The lessons learned in February's School of Frost and Fire become the foundation for all your relationships throughout the rest of 2026. You carry forward a new understanding of what love can be when it's tested, refined, and proven genuine. You move into March and beyond with a heart that has been tempered in winter's forge and emerged stronger, more beautiful, and infinitely more capable of both giving and receiving the kind of love that transforms worlds. This is the gift of February 2026, the discovery that your heart is not fragile glass that must be protected from harsh winds, but rather a forge where the raw materials of human connection are transformed into something precious, enduring, and eternally bright. The frost teaches you that love's true nature is revealed not in comfort but in contrast, not in ease but in adversity, not in the gentle warmth of spring but in the fierce fire that burns bright against winter's coldest winds. March arrives with the force of destiny itself, carrying within its windswept days the raw power of transformation that defines your very essence as an Aries. This is your month, your time, your cosmic birthday celebration that extends far beyond a single day to encompass 31 days of pure, concentrated Aries energy unleashed upon the world. The thunder that rises within you during this period isn't merely the sound of celebration. It's the rumbling of tectonic plates shifting as you prepare to reshape the landscape of your entire existence. The collision between winter's last desperate grasp and spring's irresistible advance creates an electrical charge in the atmosphere that resonates directly with your core frequency. You are the lightning in this cosmic storm, the brilliant flash that illuminates possibilities others cannot see, the crackling energy that transforms everything it touches. March 2026 marks not just another birthday season but a fundamental awakening to your role as a force of nature, a catalyst for change, a living embodiment of the principle that nothing truly worthwhile comes into existence without passion, power, and the willingness to disrupt the status quo. The thunder begins as a whisper in late February, growing stronger with each passing day until it becomes impossible to ignore. It reverberates through your bones, your blood, your breath, reminding you with each heartbeat that you were born to lead, to pioneer, to break new ground where others fear to tread. This isn't the gentle stirring of spring flowers pushing through soft soil. This is the explosive force of a mountain being born from volcanic fire, the earth-shaking power of creation itself demanding expression through your unique gifts and capabilities. Your birthday period becomes a portal, a dimensional gateway through which energy flows both ways. Cosmic power entering your being and your accumulated wisdom, experience, and intention flowing out to influence the world around you. The thunder that rises from within you carries messages, prophecies, and promises that echo across the landscape of your life, calling into existence the people, opportunities, and circumstances that will support your evolution throughout the rest of 2026. Professional endeavors undergo seismic shifts during this period of thunder rising. Projects that have been gestating in the quieter energies of winter suddenly demand birth with an urgency that cannot be denied. Your leadership abilities, always present but perhaps muted during the more introspective winter months, brought to life with the force of a sleeping giant awakening. Colleagues who have grown accustomed to your measured winter presence find themselves witnessing the emergence of a powerhouse whose vision, drive, and sheer force will reshape everything in their vicinity. New opportunities don't just present themselves during this time. They seem to materialize from thin air, as if the universe itself is responding to the thunder of your rising energy by opening pathways that didn't exist before. Your ideas, expressed with the passionate intensity that characterizes March's Aries energy, don't just get heard. They get acted upon, implemented, and transformed into reality with a speed that surprises even you. The collision of lightning and spring in your professional life creates innovations that bear the unmistakable signature of Aries brilliance: original, daring, and somehow perfectly obvious in retrospect. You find yourself at the forefront of movements, trends, and developments that others are only beginning to recognize as important. Your ability to see around corners, to anticipate needs and opportunities before they become apparent to others, reaches its peak during this thunderous month. Personal relationships experience their own form of lightning strikes during March's powerful transformation period. Friendships that have been comfortable but perhaps superficial suddenly deepen into soul connections as your increased energy and authenticity draw out corresponding depths in others. The thunder of your rising power calls to the thunder in other hearts, creating bonds that are forged not in quiet compatibility but in the shared recognition of mutual strength and potential. Romantic connections, whether new or established, feel the electric charge of your March energy in ways that are both exhilarating and potentially challenging. If you're in a committed relationship, your partner may find themselves both inspired and intimidated by the magnitude of power you're channeling. This isn't necessarily problematic. It simply requires conscious navigation as you learn to express your increased energy in ways that invite partnership rather than competition. For single Aries, March 2026 brings encounters that feel less like meetings and more like collisions, powerful, transformative interactions with individuals whose own energy can match and complement your rising thunder. These aren't gentle courtships but passionate recognitions, lightning strike moments of mutual understanding that bypass the usual gradual development of attraction and move straight into the realm of profound connection. The thunder rising within you during this period also manifests as an increased connection to your physical body and its capabilities. Exercise routines that felt adequate in quieter months suddenly seem insufficient to contain and channel the energy flowing through you. You crave more challenging workouts, more demanding physical activities, more ways to express the lightning-like vitality that courses through your veins. This physical awakening isn't just about fitness or athletics. It's about reclaiming your body as a vessel for power, a tool for transformation, a living expression of the thunder that rises from your deepest core. You may find yourself drawn to new forms of movement, different types of physical challenge, or activities that combine physical exertion with spiritual or creative expression. Creative projects begun or continued during March carry the electrical charge of your rising thunder, resulting in work that crackles with life, originality, and power. The collision between your inner lightning and the fresh energy of spring creates art, writing, music, or innovation that doesn't just express beauty or meaning. It commands attention, demands response, and creates lasting impact on everyone it touches. The thunder that rises during this period also brings with it a deeper understanding of your place in the larger cosmic order. You begin to see more clearly how your individual power connects to and serves universal purposes. Your personal ambitions and goals reveal themselves not as selfish pursuits but as expressions of cosmic will working through your unique form and personality. This recognition brings both empowerment and responsibility. The thunder that rises within you carries the obligation to use your power wisely, to direct your lightning toward purposes that serve not just your own growth but the elevation of everyone whose life intersects with yours. You become a conscious channel for forces that extend far beyond your individual existence while remaining fully and authentically yourself. The month brings multiple opportunities for you to step into leadership roles that may have seemed beyond your reach in quieter periods. The thunder of your rising energy announces your readiness for greater responsibility, wider influence, and more significant impact. Others naturally begin to look to you for direction, inspiration, and the kind of decisive action that only an Aries in full power can provide. Spiritual insights during this period come not as gentle whispers but as thunderous revelations that reshape your understanding of reality, purpose, and possibility. Meditation practices may need to be adjusted to accommodate the increased energy flowing through you. Prayer becomes less about asking for guidance and more about expressing gratitude for the power you've been given and the opportunities you've been granted to use it in service of something greater than yourself. The lightning that meets spring in passionate collision during March also illuminates aspects of yourself that may have remained hidden during quieter periods. Talents, abilities, and potentials that have been dormant suddenly spark to life with an intensity that demands expression. You may discover capabilities you didn't know you possessed, interests that capture your attention with surprising force, or callings that feel both completely new and utterly familiar. As March progresses toward its close, the thunder that has been rising throughout the month reaches a crescendo that establishes the energetic foundation for the rest of your year. The lightning that has been building and crackling throughout these 31 days doesn't dissipate but transforms into a steady, powerful current that will continue to flow through all your endeavors throughout 2026. The passionate collision between your inner thunder and the awakening energy of spring creates not just temporary excitement but permanent elevation. You emerge from March fundamentally changed, not in your essential nature, which remains authentically and powerfully Aries, but in your understanding of what that nature is capable of achieving when fully awakened and consciously directed. This is the gift of March 2026, the recognition that you are not just a person who experiences occasional moments of power, but rather a living expression of cosmic force that can choose to rise like thunder whenever the situation demands it. The lightning that meets spring in passionate collision during this transformative month reveals the truth that has always existed within you. You are a force of nature, and it is time to embrace that truth completely. April emerges like a masterpiece painted in shades of possibility, its canvas stretched wide across days that pulse with the rhythm of your unleashed potential. The tempest that births itself from the marriage of March's thunder and spring's golden promise is no ordinary storm. It is a swirling vortex of creative energy, opportunity, and manifestation that carries you forward on winds of pure intention into landscapes you've only dared to dream. The meadows you charge through during this transformative month are not composed of ordinary grass and flowers but of crystallized dreams, solidified hopes, and intentions that have taken root in the fertile soil of your awakened consciousness. Each step you take leaves footprints that glow with inner light, marking a trail that others will follow long after you've passed, creating pathways where none existed before and opening territories of possibility that expand the map of what's achievable. This golden tempest is born from the perfect fusion of your Aries fire with the abundant, generative energy of late spring. Where March brought you the thunder of awakening power, April brings you the alchemy of transformation, the magical process by which raw energy becomes refined purpose, wild dreams become structured plans, and passionate vision becomes tangible reality. The light that illuminates your path during this period isn't the harsh glare of exposure but the warm, honeyed radiance of recognition, acceptance, and celebration. In the professional realm, April 2026 marks your emergence as a golden warrior, someone whose very presence in meetings, projects, and collaborations transforms the energy and elevates the possibilities. The tempest of your unleashed creativity doesn't destroy existing structures but rather lifts them to heights they never knew they could reach. Colleagues find themselves inspired to levels of performance and innovation they didn't know they possessed, simply by being in proximity to your radiant energy. The meadows of molten light through which you charge represent opportunities that seem to glow with their own inner illumination, making them impossible to miss and irresistible to pursue. These aren't the hidden doors or subtle openings that require careful searching. These are golden gateways that swing wide at your approach, practically begging you to step through into realms of expanded possibility and increased influence. Your leadership style during this period combines the directness that defines your Aries nature with a new quality of warmth and inclusivity that draws others into your vision rather than simply commanding their compliance. The Tempest you embody lifts everyone in its path, creating not followers but fellow travelers, not subordinates but collaborators who share in the golden light of your expanded awareness and elevated purpose. Financial opportunities during April carry the same golden quality that characterizes all aspects of this transformative month. Money flows toward you not through desperate seeking but through natural magnetism, drawn by the brightness of your vision and the power of your commitment to excellence. Investment opportunities, business partnerships, and revenue streams that align with your highest values and deepest purposes seem to materialize from the molten light itself. The Tempest of your April energy also transforms your relationship with material abundance, helping you understand that wealth is not something you chase but something you become. As your inner gold becomes more apparent, external gold naturally gravitates toward you, creating a spiral of increasing prosperity that serves not just your own needs but enables you to lift others into their own golden possibilities. Personal relationships during this golden period undergo a beautification process that brings out the best in everyone involved. The Tempest of your energy acts like a divine beautician, highlighting the golden qualities in others while gently wearing away the rough edges that have prevented deeper connection. Friendships deepen into soul alliances, family relationships heal and strengthen, and romantic connections take on a luminous quality that makes them feel blessed by forces greater than yourselves. If you're in a committed relationship, your partner experiences their own elevation during your golden Tempest period, finding themselves inspired to reach for dreams they may have set aside and to express aspects of themselves that have been waiting for the right energy to call them forth. Your relationship becomes a co-creative partnership in the truest sense, with both parties contributing the unique gold to create something more valuable than either could produce alone. Single Aries charging through April's meadows of molten light find themselves attracting connections that feel destined rather than coincidental. The people who enter your life during this period carry their own inner radiance, their own capacity for charging through life with purpose and passion. These aren't chance meetings but cosmic appointments, encounters arranged by the universe to support your continued evolution and theirs. The physical expression of your golden Tempest energy transforms your very presence into something that others find both energizing and comforting. You become a walking embodiment of possibility, someone whose very appearance in a room lifts the vibration and brightens the atmosphere. This isn't about external beauty, though your inner radiance certainly enhances your physical attractiveness. It's about the unmistakable glow of someone who is fully alive and completely aligned with their purpose. Your creative endeavors during April take on a golden quality that makes them stand out in any field or medium. Whether you're writing, painting, composing, designing, or innovating, the work you produce during this tempestuous period carries a signature of excellence that gets noticed, appreciated, and remembered. The molten light that flows through you infuses everything you create with a warmth and brilliance that touches hearts and changes minds. The charging motion that characterizes your April journey isn't reckless rushing but purposeful momentum. each step calculated to maximize impact while maintaining the grace and beauty that define true power. You move through the world like a force of nature that's learned to dance, powerful yet elegant, decisive yet thoughtful, fast yet never hurried. Health and vitality during the Golden Tempest period reach new peaks as your physical body learns to channel and express the increased energy flowing through you. Exercise becomes less about discipline and more about celebration, a joyful expression of the life force that animates your being. You may find yourself drawn to activities that combine physical challenge with natural beauty, workouts that take place in golden light, whether natural or artificial. Your relationship with food and nourishment also transforms during this period, with your body naturally craving foods that support your elevated energy levels and enhanced vitality. The tempest of your increased activity creates a natural appetite for high-quality nutrition, and you find yourself instinctively choosing meals that fuel your golden fire rather than damping it down. Spiritual insights during April come wrapped in golden packages, revelations that feel like gifts rather than challenges, understandings that expand your awareness while making you feel more grounded and centered rather than unmoored. The meadows of molten light through which you charge become sacred spaces where the veil between physical and spiritual reality grows thin, allowing you to perceive the interconnectedness of all things while maintaining your unique individual identity. Travel opportunities that arise during this golden period carry the potential for life-changing experiences, journeys that take you not just to new physical locations but to new dimensions of understanding and capability. The tempest of your April energy creates a kind of spiritual jet stream that can carry you quickly and efficiently to exactly where you need to be for your next phase of growth and development. Learning and skill development accelerate dramatically during the Golden Tempest period, as your heightened energy and expanded awareness create optimal conditions for absorbing new information and mastering new abilities. Teachers, mentors, and learning opportunities seem to appear exactly when you need them, drawn by the magnetic pull of your commitment to continuous growth and evolution. As April draws to its close, the golden tempest that has carried you through meadows of molten light begins to integrate into your normal way of being, not disappearing but becoming part of your permanent energetic signature. The charging motion that defined your journey through this transformative month establishes new patterns of momentum and achievement that will continue to serve you throughout the remainder of 2026. This is the lasting gift of April's Golden Tempest. The recognition that you don't have to choose between power and beauty, between effectiveness and grace, between achievement and joy. The molten light that illuminated your path during this magical month reveals the truth that excellence in any field requires not just effort but radiance, not just determination but delight, not just success but the golden glow of someone who is living their truth with passionate authenticity. May arrives bearing gifts that only the bravest hearts can fully receive. The golden crown of recognition, woven from rays of endless daylight and studded with gems of achievement that reflect not just personal victory but the triumph of courage over comfort, of vision over limitation, of action over hesitation. This is your month of coronation, magnificent Aries, when the universe itself acknowledges the warrior you've become and places upon your head the luminous circlet that marks you as royalty in the kingdom of authentic living. The solstice energy that builds throughout this transformative month creates a unique temporal space where daylight seems to stretch infinitely, providing you with expanded hours of clarity, opportunity, and creative potential. Each dawn breaks with the promise of possibilities unlimited by ordinary constraints, and each sunset arrives reluctantly, as if the very light itself is eager to continue illuminating your path toward greater and greater expressions of your true nature. The crown that forms around your consciousness during this period is not made of metal or stone but of crystallized courage. Each brave choice you've made, Each fear you've faced, each moment you've chosen growth over safety now manifesting as a visible aura of leadership that others can sense even when they can't name what they're perceiving. You walk through your days carrying yourself with the bearing of someone who has earned the place at the head of the column, not through birthright or appointment but through the accumulation of countless acts of bravery both large and small. Your professional life during May 2026 reflects this coronation energy in ways both subtle and dramatic. Projects you've been nurturing through previous months reach a kind of critical mass where their success becomes not just probable but inevitable. The endless daylight that characterizes your warrior's solstice provides perfect conditions for the final pushes needed to bring visions into reality, to transform plans into achievements, to convert potential into actual results that others can see, measure, and celebrate. Leadership opportunities that present themselves during this crowned period carry a different quality than those you've encountered before. These aren't positions you have to compete for or convince others to grant you. They're roles that seem to crystallize around your natural presence and capabilities, crowns that the universe itself places upon your head because it recognizes that you've become someone capable of wearing them with grace and effectiveness. The garlands of endless daylight that adorn your warrior crown bring with them an enhanced ability to see opportunities and solutions that remain hidden to others. Your vision, both literal and metaphorical, becomes so acute during this period that colleagues and competitors alike begin seeking your input on challenges that seemed insurmountable from their perspectives. You become known not just as someone who can execute plans but as someone who can see paths where others see only obstacles. Financial abundance during May flows toward you with the inexorable force of sunlight seeking the earth, drawn by the magnetic pull of your crowned energy and your demonstrated ability to transform resources into results. Investment opportunities, business partnerships, and revenue streams align themselves with your vision not because you're chasing them desperately but because your success has become a kind of gravitational field that attracts additional success. The endless daylight of your warrior's solstice also illuminates aspects of abundance that extend far beyond monetary wealth. You begin to recognize and appreciate the riches you've accumulated in the form of skills, relationships, experiences, and wisdom. The crown you wear reflects not just current achievements but the entire journey that brought you to this point of recognition and celebration. Personal relationships during this crowned period take on a quality of mutual honoring that transforms even casual interactions into moments of recognition and respect. Friends, family members, and romantic partners begin to see and acknowledge your growth in ways that may have been absent during your more challenging developmental phases. The courage that adorns your crown inspires corresponding bravery in others, creating a network of relationships based on mutual support for each other's highest expressions. If you're in a committed partnership, your relationship itself receives a kind of cosmic blessing during this period, as if the universe is acknowledging the courage it has taken for both of you to create and maintain a connection based on authentic love rather than convenience or fear. Your partner may begin to express appreciations and recognitions that they've felt but hadn't found words for previously. Single Aries wearing the warrior's solstice crown attract potential partners who are themselves crowned with their own forms of excellence and achievement. These aren't relationships born of need or desperation but connections between two sovereign beings who choose to share their abundance rather than seeking to fill their lacks. The endless daylight that surrounds you during this period makes it impossible for anyone to approach you from hidden motives or masked intentions. Your physical presence during May carries the unmistakable bearing of someone who has claimed their power and learned to wield it with both strength and wisdom. The crown of courage you wear affects your posture, your gait, your voice, and your overall energy in ways that command respect without demanding it, that inspire confidence without creating intimidation. Exercise and physical activities during this period become celebrations of your body's capabilities rather than punishments for its limitations. The endless daylight provides perfect conditions for outdoor activities that combine physical challenge with natural beauty, allowing you to train and strengthen yourself while basking in the solar energy that feeds your warrior spirit. Creative projects initiated or continued during your crowned period carry the signature of someone who has transcended the need for approval and moved into the realm of authentic expression. The endless daylight provides both inspiration and energy for sustained creative work, resulting in art, writing, music, or innovation that bears the unmistakable mark of mastery achieved through courage rather than mere talent or technique. The crown you wear during May also brings with it increased responsibility for the welfare and development of others. Your success creates opportunities and obligations to lift those who are still climbing the mountain you've already ascended. The endless daylight that illuminates your path extends its rays to light the way for others, making you a beacon of possibility for anyone struggling to believe that the dreams can become realities. Mentoring opportunities arise naturally during this period as others seek to learn not just what you've accomplished but how you've maintained your courage and vision through the inevitable challenges and setbacks that accompany any meaningful journey. Your ability to share wisdom without condescension, to offer guidance without control, becomes one of the most valuable aspects of the crown you wear. Spiritual insights during the warrior's solstice period arrive with the clarity and warmth of perfect sunlight, revelations that don't challenge your existing understanding so much as expand and elevate it. The endless daylight creates ideal conditions for meditation, prayer, and contemplative practices that connect you more deeply with the source of your strength and the purpose behind your courage. Travel and adventure opportunities during May carry the potential for experiences that will become touchstones for the rest of your life, journeys that take place not just in physical space but in dimensions of understanding and capability that were previously beyond your reach. The crown you wear serves as a passport to territories reserved for those who have proven their worthiness through demonstrated courage and achievement. Learning and growth accelerate during this crowned period as your expanded confidence creates optimal conditions for taking on challenges that would have seemed too risky or demanding in earlier phases of your development. The endless daylight provides both the energy and the extended time needed for intensive study, skill development, and mastery of new domains of knowledge or capability. As May draws toward its close, the crown that has formed around your consciousness doesn't disappear but rather integrates into your permanent energetic signature, becoming not an ornament you wear but an aspect of who you are. The courage that adorned this crown with garlands of endless daylight establishes new baselines of confidence and capability that will serve you throughout the remainder of 2026 and beyond. This is the enduring gift of May's warrior solstice. The recognition that courage is not the absence of fear but the decision to proceed in spite of fear, and that this decision, made repeatedly over time, eventually transforms you into someone who naturally inspires courage in others. The crown you wear is not a symbol of superiority but a beacon of possibility, a living demonstration that ordinary human beings can achieve extraordinary things when they're willing to face their fears and act from their highest understanding of what's possible. June unfolds like an ancient prophecy fulfilled, bringing with it the mystical convergence of your Aries fire and the vast, rhythmic wisdom of ocean tides that ebb and flow beneath constellations blazing with summer's passionate intensity. This is a month of profound synthesis, where the elemental force of your inner flame encounters the infinite, cyclical power of water, creating steam that rises to the heavens and rain that nourishes the earth, generating new forms of energy and awareness that transcend the limitations of either element alone. The passionate waves that crash against the shores of your consciousness during this transformative period carry messages from depths you've never explored, revealing aspects of yourself that have been waiting beneath the surface for exactly this moment of recognition and integration. Each tide that washes over your awareness brings treasures from the ocean floor of your being. Forgotten dreams, buried talents, subconscious wisdom that now sparkles in the summer sunlight like jewels revealed by receding waters. This meeting of fire and ocean creates a unique atmospheric condition in your life where the impossible becomes probable, where barriers dissolve like mist before the morning sun, where solutions to long-standing challenges arrive with the rhythmic certainty of waves returning to shore. The summer constellation overhead bears witness to this alchemical transformation, adding cosmic blessing to the merger of your passionate nature with forces of flow, intuition, and natural timing that have previously seemed foreign to your direct, action-oriented approach to life. Professional endeavors during June 2026 benefit enormously from this fire meets ocean energy, as your natural Aries drive for immediate results learns to work with rather than against the natural rhythms and cycles that govern all sustainable success. Projects that have been pushed and forced begin to flow with organic momentum when you learn to time your efforts with the cosmic tides rather than trying to impose your will against them. The passionate waves beneath the summer constellation bring business opportunities that seem to arise from nowhere, washing up on the shores of your awareness with the perfect timing that characterizes all natural phenomena. These opportunities require a different kind of response than the aggressive pursuit that has characterized your professional approach in the past. They ask for recognition, appreciation, and the willingness to dive deep rather than charge ahead. Your leadership style during this ocean fire period becomes more fluid and adaptive while maintaining the essential strength and vision that defines your Aries nature. You learn to read the tides of group dynamics, organizational culture, and market conditions with the same intuitive accuracy that ocean navigators use to read wind and weather. This enhanced sensitivity doesn't diminish your power but rather makes it more effective by ensuring that your actions are perfectly timed for maximum impact. Financial abundance during June flows toward you with the rhythmic reliability of tides, sometimes rushing in with dramatic force and sometimes arriving as gentle increases that accumulate over time into significant wealth. The fire-ocean synthesis teaches you to work with both types of abundance cycles, neither resisting the quiet periods nor becoming overwhelmed by the abundant ones. The summer constellation overhead illuminates new pathways to prosperity that combine your Aries innovation with the patient wisdom of natural cycles. Investment opportunities that emerge during this period carry the blessing of perfect timing, whether they involve traditional financial instruments or more creative forms of wealth generation that align with your deepest values and highest purposes. Personal relationships during the fire meets ocean period undergo a beautification process that brings out the best in everyone involved while revealing depths of connection that may have been invisible during more surface-oriented times. The passionate waves of your enhanced emotional awareness crash against the shores of others' hearts, awakening in them corresponding depths of feeling and understanding. If you're in a committed relationship, June brings opportunities for intimacy that transcend the merely physical or emotional to encompass spiritual and soul-level connection. The summer constellation provides perfect conditions for romantic experiences that feel blessed by forces greater than yourselves, moments of connection that become treasured memories and foundation stones for deeper commitment. Single Aries experiencing the fire-ocean synthesis during this magical period attract potential partners who embody complementary qualities. Perhaps water signs who can match your passion with depth, or earth signs who can provide stability for your flames, or air signs who can fan your fires with intellectual stimulation. The relationships that begin during this time carry the blessing of cosmic timing and natural compatibility. The oceanic aspect of June's energy also enhances your relationship with your own emotions, teaching your naturally direct and immediate Aries nature to appreciate the ebb and flow of feeling states rather than trying to maintain constant high-intensity emotional expression. You learn that there is wisdom in emotional tides, strength in vulnerability, and power in allowing feelings to move through you rather than trying to control or direct them. Your physical body during this fire ocean period becomes more fluid and graceful while maintaining the strength and vitality that characterizes your Aries constitution. Water-based activities call to you with irresistible appeal. Swimming, surfing, sailing, or simply long walks by bodies of water that allow you to absorb the rhythmic wisdom of waves and tides. The passionate waves beneath the summer constellation also influence your sleep and dream patterns, bringing vivid nocturnal visions that provide guidance, inspiration, and connection to aspects of wisdom that aren't available to your conscious mind during waking hours. Pay attention to recurring dream themes during this period, as they carry messages from your deeper self about directions and possibilities that deserve exploration. Creative endeavors during June take on a flowing, organic quality that allows your natural Aries innovation to express itself through more fluid and adaptive forms. Whether you're writing, painting, composing, designing, or innovating in any field, the work you produce during this fire ocean period carries both the power of your passion and the grace of natural timing. The summer constellation overhead provides perfect conditions for creative work that takes place outdoors or draws inspiration from natural settings. Art created during this period often carries a luminous quality that seems to glow with its own inner light, reflecting the unique atmospheric conditions present when fire meets ocean under starlit skies. Spiritual insights during this transformative period arrive with the rhythmic certainty of waves returning to shore, revelations that don't shock or surprise but rather feel like natural extensions of understanding you already possessed. The fire ocean synthesis creates ideal conditions for meditation practices that combine the focused intensity of your Aries nature with the flowing awareness that comes from connection to larger rhythms and cycles. Your relationship with the divine during June takes on a more intimate and personal quality, as if the passionate waves are carrying prayers directly to the source of all creation while bringing back responses in the form of synchronicities, opportunities, and encounters that feel arranged by cosmic intelligence. The summer constellation serves as a celestial witness to this enhanced spiritual communication. Travel opportunities that arise during the fire ocean period often involve water-based destinations or activities that allow you to experience firsthand the power and beauty of natural aquatic environments. These journeys serve not just as vacations but as pilgrimages to places where you can more fully experience and integrate the oceanic aspects of your expanding consciousness. Learning and growth during June focus on developing qualities that complement and enhance your natural Aries strengths rather than replacing them. You discover that patience can coexist with urgency, that receptivity can enhance rather than diminish your natural assertiveness, that going with the flow can actually accelerate your progress toward desired destinations. As June draws to its close, the synthesis of fire and ocean that has characterized this transformative month doesn't disappear but rather becomes integrated into your permanent way of being. The passionate waves that crashed against your consciousness throughout this period leave behind treasures that will enrich your life for years to come, while the summer constellation overhead blesses your enhanced understanding with celestial approval. This is the lasting gift of June's fire meets ocean energy. The recognition that true power comes not from forcing your will upon circumstances but from learning to dance with the natural rhythms and cycles that govern all life. The passionate waves beneath the summer constellation teach you that strength and flow are not opposites but partners in the cosmic dance of creation, and that your Aries fire burns brightest when it learns to move with rather than against the tides of natural timing and organic development. July arrives like a cosmic accountant bearing ledgers written in golden ink, ready to tally the magnificent return on investments made not with money but with courage, not with calculation but with faith, not with guarantees but with the wild audacity that defines every true Aries heart that has ever dared to plant seeds in untested soil and water them with pure intention. This is your month of reaping, magnificent warrior, when the universe opens its abundant storehouses and pours forth the harvest that has been growing in the invisible realms since you first dared to dream beyond the boundaries of what seemed safe or sensible. The bold dreams you planted during winter's contemplative darkness and spring's energetic awakening have been growing throughout the light-filled months, sending down deep roots and reaching toward the sun with the persistent power of all living things that know their season of fruition is approaching. Now, under July's generous skies, these dreams ripen into realities so beautiful and abundant that even your visionary Aries imagination is surprised by their magnitude and perfection. The harvest that unfolds during this transformative month carries the unmistakable signature of bold thinking made manifest. These are not the modest returns of cautious investments or the predictable outcomes of safe choices. These are the extraordinary results that can only emerge when fierce hearts dare to plant seeds that others consider too wild, too ambitious, or too unlikely to ever grow into anything substantial. Your professional life during July 2026 becomes a showcase for what becomes possible when visionary thinking meets persistent action and perfect timing. Projects that seemed impossibly ambitious when you first conceived them now reveal themselves to have been exactly the right size for your expanded capabilities and enhanced understanding. The bold dreams you dared to pursue in the face of skepticism and doubt now stand as monuments to the power of Aries vision backed by unwavering commitment. Recognition arrives during this harvest period not as a gentle acknowledgement but as a thunderous applause from colleagues, competitors, and industry leaders who can no longer ignore the magnitude of what you've accomplished. Awards, promotions, and opportunities that once seemed reserved for others begin flowing toward you with the abundance of summer rain, each acknowledgement bringing with it additional platforms for even greater expression of your unique gifts. The fierce heart that dared to sow unconventional seeds now finds itself managing a harvest so abundant that it requires new skills, expanded thinking, and perhaps most challenging for an independent Aries nature, the willingness to accept help from others who want to participate in your success. The bold dreams that were once yours alone now require teams, systems, and structures to support their continued growth and impact. Financial abundance during July's harvest period arrives in forms both expected and surprising, reflecting the multidimensional nature of the dreams you planted and the various seeds you scattered throughout the year's earlier seasons. Investment returns, business profits, and new revenue streams converge to create a flow of prosperity that exceeds your most optimistic projections while requiring sophisticated management strategies you're still learning to master. The harvest of bold dreams extends far beyond monetary wealth to include the invaluable currencies of reputation, influence, and credibility that can only be earned through demonstrated excellence and consistent delivery on ambitious promises. These intangible assets create opportunities for future harvests that dwarf even the current abundant period, establishing platforms for continued growth and increasing impact. Personal relationships during the harvest period reflect the growth and development that has occurred in every aspect of your life throughout the year's journey. Friends who supported your bold dreams during uncertain periods now share in the joy of seeing those visions become realities, creating bonds of mutual celebration and appreciation that transcend ordinary friendship to become soul alliances forged in the fires of shared vision and mutual support. If you're in a committed relationship, your partner experiences their own form of harvest during this period. reaping the benefits of having supported your dreams and shared in the risks and uncertainties that characterized earlier stages of development. The relationship itself becomes stronger and more beautiful as both parties learn to navigate the opportunities and challenges that accompany success and abundance. Single Aries enjoying the harvest of the bold dreams find themselves in the enviable position of attracting potential partners who are drawn not by need or desperation but by admiration for what you've accomplished and excitement about what you might create together. These connections carry the potential for relationships that are partnerships in the truest sense, unions that multiply rather than divide individual strength and capability. The reaping process during July also involves learning to manage success with the same fierce integrity that characterized your journey toward achievement. The bold dreams that have now become realities require ongoing nurturing, protection, and development. Success brings its own challenges, and your Aries nature must adapt to include not just the conquering of new territories but the wise governance of domains already won. Your physical health and vitality during the harvest period reach new peaks as the satisfaction of seeing bold dreams become realities creates a kind of energetic feedback loop that enhances every aspect of your well-being. The stress of uncertainty and struggle that may have characterized earlier periods dissolves into the confident relaxation that comes from knowing you've proven yourself capable of turning vision into reality. The abundance that flows during this harvest season manifests not just in external achievements but in internal richness, a deep sense of fulfillment that comes from having honored your authentic nature and followed your true calling despite obstacles and opposition. The dreams that once seemed impossible now serve as stepping stones toward even greater visions that are already beginning to stir in the depths of your consciousness. Exercise and physical activities during July become celebrations of your body's role in manifesting your dreams rather than mere maintenance routines. You begin to appreciate how your physical strength and stamina contributed to your ability to persist through challenging periods and maintain the energy necessary for sustained high-level performance. Every workout becomes a form of gratitude for the vessel that carried your dreams from conception to reality. The harvest energy also transforms your relationship with material possessions and resources, helping you understand that true wealth is not about accumulation but about flow, the continuous circulation of energy, resources, and opportunities that create value for yourself and others. The abundance you receive during this period naturally seeks expression through giving, sharing, and creating even greater abundance for those around you. Creative projects that emerge from July's harvest energy carry the signature of someone who has moved beyond proving themselves to expressing themselves with complete authenticity and confidence. The bold dreams that have become realities in other areas of your life create a foundation of security that allows for even greater creative risk-taking and artistic exploration. Your art, writing, music, or innovation during this period reflects the deep satisfaction and expanded perspective that comes from having successfully manifested vision into reality. The creative harvest during July often surprises you with its diversity and richness, as ideas that were planted months earlier suddenly bloom into full expression with timing so perfect it seems orchestrated by cosmic intelligence. Projects that you thought were separate reveal their interconnections, creating a portfolio of creative work that is greater than the sum of its individual parts. The harvest period also brings increased responsibility for sharing your abundance with others who are still in earlier stages of their own dream manifestation journey. Your success creates opportunities and obligations to become a mentor, guide, and inspiration for others who need to see living proof that bold dreams can indeed become beautiful realities. Teaching, mentoring, or simply sharing your story becomes a natural extension of your harvest celebration. This sharing aspect of the harvest is not burdensome but joyful, as you discover that giving others hope and practical guidance actually increases rather than diminishes your own abundance. The seeds of possibility you plant in others' consciousness during this period create ripple effects that will return to enrich your own life in ways you cannot yet imagine. Spiritual insights during the reaping period arrive with the profound satisfaction that comes from experiencing firsthand the creative power that flows through human beings who align themselves with cosmic principles of growth, development, and manifestation. The harvest of bold dreams becomes evidence of divine partnership in human endeavors, proof that the universe actively supports those who dare to dream beyond conventional limitations. Your relationship with the sacred during July takes on a quality of deep gratitude mixed with awe at the magnitude of what becomes possible when human vision aligns with cosmic timing and universal principles of abundance. Prayer and meditation practices during this period often involve more giving thanks than asking for guidance, more celebration than supplication. You find yourself in constant communication with the source of your blessings, not asking for more but expressing appreciation for what has already been given. The spiritual dimension of your harvest also includes the recognition that your individual success is connected to and contributes to the larger evolution of human consciousness. The bold dreams that you've manifested serve not just your personal growth but the collective advancement of what's considered possible for human achievement and expression. Travel opportunities that arise from your successful harvest often involve sharing your story, expertise, or achievements with audiences who can benefit from your experience and inspiration. These journeys serve dual purposes of expanding your own horizons while planting seeds of possibility in others who are ready to begin their own bold dream cultivation. You may find yourself speaking at conferences, consulting for organizations, or simply being invited to share your wisdom in settings you never expected to access. These travel experiences during the harvest period often take on a quality of pilgrimage or sacred journey, as you visit places and meet people who help you understand the larger significance of what you've accomplished. The bold dreams that began as personal visions reveal their connections to universal themes and collective needs that extend far beyond your individual circumstances. Learning and growth during the harvest period focus on developing the wisdom and skills necessary to manage abundance responsibly while maintaining the visionary edge that created success in the first place. The fierce heart that dared to sow unconventional seeds must now learn to be a wise steward of the extraordinary harvest those seeds have produced. This learning process includes developing new capacities for delegation, collaboration, and shared leadership that allow your expanded influence to serve the greatest good rather than simply feeding your ego or personal ambitions. The harvest teaches you that true success creates not dependence but empowerment in others, not scarcity but abundance for everyone touched by your vision. The abundance of July also creates opportunities for you to experiment with new forms of giving and service that align with your values and amplify your positive impact. Charitable contributions, volunteer work, or pro bono services that once seemed financially impossible now become natural expressions of your gratitude and desire to share your good fortune with others. Community involvement takes on new meaning during the harvest period, as you begin to see yourself not just as an individual achiever but as a contributing member of larger networks of mutual support and shared prosperity. The bold dreams you've manifested create platforms for lifting others toward their own success, establishing you as a leader in communities of practice, innovation, and positive change. The harvest season also brings opportunities to establish foundations, scholarships, or other institutional forms of giving that will continue generating positive impact long after the immediate abundance has been shared. Your success creates not just temporary wealth but lasting legacies that embody your values and extend your influence across time and geography. As July draws toward its close, the harvest of bold dreams doesn't end but rather transitions into seed collection for the next planting season. The abundance you've reaped creates resources for even more ambitious dreams, while the experience of successful manifestation provides confidence for undertaking challenges that would have seemed impossible at the year's beginning. The cycle of dreaming, planting, nurturing, and harvesting reveals itself as an ongoing spiral of growth and expansion rather than a linear progression with a final destination. Each harvest provides seeds for the next planting season. Each success creates platforms for greater challenges. Each dream fulfilled opens doorways to visions that are more magnificent and more aligned with your highest potential. You begin to understand that the harvest is not a reward for past efforts but a preparation for future service, not an end point but a beginning, not a conclusion but a commencement. The abundance that flows toward you during this magical month carries with it the responsibility to use these resources wisely, invest them thoughtfully, and share them generously. The bold dreams that have become beautiful realities during July 2026 serve as proof of concept for even more ambitious visions that are already stirring in the depths of your consciousness. The success you've achieved creates not satisfaction that leads to complacency but hunger for even greater expressions of your potential and even more meaningful contributions to the world around you. This is the enduring gift of July's harvest period. The recognition that bold dreams are not fantasies to be outgrown but blueprints to be implemented, not escapes from reality but maps for creating new realities that reflect the magnificent scope of what becomes possible when fierce hearts dare to plant seeds in the fertile soil of unlimited potential and water them with the persistent faith that characterizes every true Aries soul willing to risk failure for the possibility of extraordinary success. August unfolds like a master choreographer's greatest work, orchestrating a dance between the fierce urgency of late summer and the approaching wisdom of autumn, creating a unique temporal space where your wild Aries rhythm becomes the heartbeat to which the entire natural world seems to move. This is a month of fierce grace, where power meets elegance, where strength discovers beauty, where the ram's untamed energy learns to express itself through movements so refined and purposeful that they become a form of cosmic poetry written in the language of authentic living. The falling leaves that dance to your wild rhythm are not merely the seasonal shedding of summer's abundance but rather conscious choices made by nature herself to release what no longer serves in order to reveal the essential beauty that lies beneath surface adornments. Each leaf that spirals through the air in response to your energetic frequency carries with it a lesson about the grace that can be found in letting go, the beauty that emerges from conscious release, the power that comes from choosing what to keep and what to transform. Your wild rhythm during this transformative period becomes a force of nature so magnetic and compelling that everything in your environment begins to entrain to its frequency. Colleagues synchronize their efforts to match your pace. Friends find themselves inspired to higher levels of authenticity and expression. And even strangers pause in the daily routines to watch and wonder at the sight of someone moving through life with such purposeful intensity and elegant power. This fierce grace manifests in your professional life as a unique combination of decisive action and sophisticated timing that produces results which are both impressive in their magnitude and beautiful in their execution. Projects that might have been accomplished through brute force or grinding determination now flow with an organic elegance that makes success appear effortless while actually requiring more skill, awareness, and nuanced understanding than any approach you've previously mastered. Leadership opportunities during August arrive not as positions to be conquered but as invitations to dance, requiring you to lead others not through domination or control but through inspiration and example. Your wild rhythm becomes the music to which entire teams and organizations begin to move, creating collective accomplishments that exceed what any individual effort could produce while maintaining the distinctive signature of your Aries vision and energy. The fierce grace that characterizes your August journey transforms your relationship with competition and challenge, teaching you to approach obstacles not as enemies to be defeated but as dance partners whose resistance provides the perfect counterpoint to your advancing movements. This shift in perspective doesn't diminish your competitive edge but rather refines it into something more sophisticated and ultimately more effective. Financial opportunities during this period of autumn's fierce grace arrive with perfect timing and elegant presentation, requiring not aggressive pursuit but rather the refined ability to recognize quality and respond with appropriate appreciation and action. Investment possibilities, business partnerships, and revenue streams present themselves as natural extensions of your enhanced reputation and demonstrated capability rather than prizes to be won through struggle or manipulation. The wild rhythm that attracts financial abundance during August also creates opportunities for wealth generation that align with your highest values and deepest purposes, ensuring that prosperity serves not just your immediate needs but contributes to the larger dance of value creation and positive impact that characterizes all sustainable success. Personal relationships during the fierce grace period undergo a beautification process that brings out qualities of elegance, refinement, and mutual appreciation that may have been present but unexpressed during more challenging phases of development. The falling leaves that dance to your rhythm create a kind of natural amphitheater where deeper conversations, more meaningful connections, and more satisfying forms of intimacy become not just possible but inevitable. If you're in a committed relationship, your partnership develops its own unique rhythm that harmonizes with your individual wild beat while creating something more complex and beautiful than either could produce alone. The fierce grace of your August energy teaches both partners how to maintain individual authenticity while contributing to a collective dance that enhances rather than diminishes personal expression. Single Aries moving through autumn's fierce grace attract potential partners who appreciate not just your strength and passion but also the refined artistry with which you express these qualities. These connections carry the potential for relationships that are themselves forms of dance, partnerships that create beauty through the elegant interplay of two authentic individuals choosing to move through life together. The dance of falling leaves to your wild rhythm also reflects internal processes of release and renewal that allow you to shed patterns, beliefs, and behaviors that no longer serve your continued evolution. This letting go happens not through harsh discipline or forced change but through the natural process of growth outgrowing its previous containers, requiring new forms of expression and larger stages for performance. Your physical presence during August carries the unmistakable bearing of someone who has learned to embody power with grace, strength with elegance, intensity with refinement. The wild rhythm that pulses through your being expresses itself through movements that are both purposeful and beautiful, creating an impression of someone who has transformed the raw energy of youth into the sophisticated power of mastery. Exercise and physical activities during the fierce grace period become opportunities for artistic expression as much as fitness development, with your body learning to move in ways that are both effective and aesthetically pleasing. Dance, martial arts, or athletic pursuits that combine physical challenge with graceful movement call to you with irresistible appeal. Creative endeavors during August take on qualities of fierce grace that make them stand out in any field or medium for their combination of power and refinement, strength and beauty, intensity and elegance. The wild rhythm that flows through your being infuses everything you create with a dynamic quality that captures attention while maintaining the sophisticated appeal that comes from mastery of craft combined with authenticity of expression. The falling leaves that dance to your rhythm during this period also carry artistic inspiration, the graceful descent providing metaphors, images, and concepts that enrich whatever creative work you're pursuing. Nature herself becomes a collaborator in your artistic endeavors, offering lessons in how to combine fierce energy with graceful expression. Spiritual insights during the fierce grace period arrive with the perfect timing and elegant presentation that characterizes all aspects of your August experience. The wild rhythm that moves through your being becomes a form of moving meditation, a way of expressing devotion and connecting with the sacred through purposeful action rather than passive contemplation. Your relationship with the divine during this period takes on qualities of dance partnership, with prayer and spiritual practice becoming forms of rhythmic communication that honor both your individual nature and your connection to something larger than yourself. The fierce grace that characterizes your movement through the world becomes itself a form of worship, a living demonstration of what becomes possible when human energy aligns with cosmic rhythms. Travel opportunities that emerge during autumn's fierce grace often involve destinations or experiences that combine natural beauty with cultural sophistication. Places where you can experience firsthand how different traditions have learned to express strength through graceful forms and powerful emotions through refined artistic expression. Learning and skill development during August focus on integrating technical mastery with aesthetic sensibility, learning to accomplish goals not just effectively but beautifully. The fierce grace that characterizes this period teaches you that true mastery involves not just the ability to produce desired results but the capacity to do so in ways that inspire and uplift everyone who witnesses the process. As August draws toward its close, the fierce grace that has characterized your journey through autumn's early stages doesn't disappear but rather becomes integrated into your permanent way of being in the world. The wild rhythm that caused leaves to dance in your presence establishes new patterns of movement and expression that will continue to create beauty and accomplish goals throughout the remainder of 2026 and beyond. This is the lasting gift of August's fierce grace, the recognition that true power is always beautiful, that authentic strength naturally expresses itself through graceful forms, and that the wild rhythm of an unleashed Aries heart becomes most effective when it learns to dance with rather than against the natural flows and cycles that govern all sustainable success and meaningful accomplishment. September arrives cloaked in mystery and pregnant with transformation, carrying within its darkening days the ancient promise that every ending contains the seeds of a beginning more magnificent than anything that preceded it. This is your month of profound metamorphosis, brave Aries, when you discover that the shadows you've been avoiding are not obstacles to your growth but cocoons for your evolution, dark spaces where the most beautiful aspects of your nature can gestate undisturbed until they're ready to emerge as wings of scarlet flame that lift you to heights you never imagined possible. The embrace of shadow during this transformative period is not the cold grip of defeat or the suffocating hold of depression, but rather the warm, protective darkness of the womb where new life forms, the deep earth where seeds transform into flowers, the fertile night where dreams take root and begin their journey toward manifestation. Your Aries nature, accustomed to the bright heat of direct action and immediate results, learns during September that some forms of power can only be cultivated in darkness, some wings can only grow in shadow, some flames can only achieve their most brilliant scarlet intensity after being tempered by periods of apparent dormancy. The phoenix that rises from within your being during this extraordinary month is not the same creature that entered the transformative fires of previous challenges and setbacks. This is a evolved version of yourself, one that has learned to find strength in vulnerability, power in patience, and the most intense flames in the depths of seeming darkness. The scarlet wings that unfold as you rise from shadow's embrace carry not just your individual dreams and ambitions but the hopes and inspirations of everyone who has watched your journey and drawn courage from your willingness to face transformation with grace and determination. Your professional life during September 2026 undergoes shifts so fundamental that colleagues may hardly recognize the person they thought they knew, not because you've become someone different but because you've finally become completely yourself, stripped of all pretense, adaptation, and compromise. The phoenix that rises from your career's various small deaths and setbacks carries wisdom earned through experience, confidence born of tested capability, and vision clarified by having seen what doesn't work as well as what does. Projects that seemed to die or disappear during earlier periods now reveal themselves to have been quietly transforming in the fertile darkness of apparent failure, emerging during September as opportunities more valuable and aligned with your authentic purposes than their original forms ever could have been. The phoenix wings that carry these reborn ventures bear the unmistakable pattern of lessons learned, wisdom gained, and vision refined through the alchemy of transformation. Leadership opportunities that present themselves during this phoenix period require not the charging ram energy that characterized your earlier approaches but the soaring perspective and refined power that comes from having died to lesser versions of yourself and risen as something more magnificent. Teams and organizations seek your guidance not just for your ability to drive results but for your demonstrated capacity to transform challenges into opportunities and setbacks into setups for greater success. Financial abundance during September's shadow embrace arrives through channels that may have been invisible or inaccessible to previous versions of yourself, pathways that only open to those who have learned to find treasure in darkness and opportunity in apparent obstacles. The phoenix that rises from your economic challenges carries not just personal prosperity but the ability to create wealth in ways that uplift and inspire others rather than diminishing their possibilities. Investment opportunities and business partnerships that emerge during this transformative period often involve ventures that are themselves rising from their own periods of shadow embracement, creating synergies between your renewed energy and others' parallel processes of rebirth and reinvention. The scarlet flames of your phoenix wings ignite corresponding fires in collaborators and colleagues, creating collective accomplishments that exceed what any individual effort could achieve. Personal relationships during the Phoenix period undergo their own forms of death and rebirth, with connections that cannot survive your transformation naturally falling away while relationships that can match your evolved energy growing stronger and more meaningful. The shadow embrace that facilitates your own metamorphosis also reveals which people in your life are capable of supporting rather than fearing your most authentic and powerful expressions. If you're in a committed relationship, your partnership experiences its own phoenix process during this period, with outdated patterns and dynamics dying away to make room for forms of connection that honor who you're both becoming rather than who you used to be. The scarlet wings of your individual transformation lift the entire relationship to new levels of intimacy, understanding, and mutual support. Single Aries rising from shadow's embrace find themselves attracting potential partners who are also in their own phoenix periods, individuals who have learned to find beauty in darkness and strength in transformation. These connections carry the potential for relationships that are built not on mutual neediness or surface compatibility but on shared understanding of what it means to continually evolve and grow throughout life. The phoenix that emerges from your shadow embrace also transforms your relationship with your own emotions, teaching you that feelings you've labeled as negative or undesirable actually contain valuable information and energy that can fuel your continued growth and development. Anger becomes passion, sadness becomes depth, fear becomes excitement, and all emotions become allies in your ongoing evolution rather than obstacles to overcome. Your physical body during September's transformation period may undergo its own forms of death and rebirth, with old patterns of tension, holding, or limitation dissolving to make room for new levels of vitality, flexibility, and expressive capacity. The phoenix that rises within you requires a physical form that can contain and express its evolved energy, leading to natural improvements in health, appearance, and overall presence. Exercise and physical activities during this period often involve practices that combine physical challenge with spiritual or emotional release, forms of movement that allow your body to actively participate in the transformation process rather than simply maintaining existing patterns. Dance, martial arts, or athletic pursuits that require coordination between physical and emotional expression call to you with particular intensity. Creative projects that emerge from September's Phoenix process carry the unmistakable signature of someone who has been through fire and emerged not burned but refined, not diminished but enhanced. The scarlet wings of your artistic expression lift your work to levels of depth, authenticity, and power that can only be achieved through having faced and integrated shadow aspects of experience. The embrace of darkness during this creative period allows you to explore themes, emotions, and experiences that you may have avoided during brighter phases, resulting in art, writing, music, or innovation that speaks to others who are also navigating their own shadow territories and phoenix processes. Spiritual insights during the Phoenix period arrive with the profound authority that comes from direct experience of death and rebirth, transformation and renewal. The shadow embrace that facilitates your metamorphosis becomes sacred space where you encounter not just your own deeper nature but the divine forces that orchestrate all processes of death and rebirth throughout the universe. Your relationship with the sacred during September takes on qualities of intimate partnership with the mysterious forces that govern all transformation, all evolution, all movement from lesser to greater expressions of potential. Prayer and meditation practices during this period often involve more listening than speaking, more receiving than requesting, more gratitude for the privilege of conscious participation in cosmic processes of renewal. Travel opportunities that arise during the Phoenix period often involve destinations or experiences that facilitate continued transformation, places where you can witness or participate in natural processes of death and rebirth, renewal and regeneration. These journeys serve as external reflections of internal processes, providing metaphors and insights that support your continued evolution. Learning and growth during September focus on integrating the wisdom gained through shadow work and transformation processes, developing skills and understanding that can only be acquired through having navigated darkness and emerged with scarlet wings intact. The phoenix that rises from your challenges carries not just personal evolution but the capacity to guide others through their own transformative journeys. As September draws toward its close, the phoenix that has risen from shadow's embrace doesn't complete its transformation but rather prepares for the next phase of flight, the next level of expression, the next opportunity to demonstrate what becomes possible when scarlet wings learn to soar on currents of authentic power and refined purpose. This is the enduring gift of September's Phoenix process. The recognition that every apparent ending is actually a beginning, every shadow contains wings waiting to unfold, and every embrace of darkness creates opportunities for flames to burn brighter and more beautiful than ever before, lifting not just yourself but everyone who witnesses your journey from the ashes of who you were to the magnificent reality of who you're becoming. October through December converge into a unified symphony of enduring radiance, where your Aries fire transforms from the explosive brilliance of spring awakening into the steady, eternal flame that guides travelers through the darkest passages of the year. This is your season of becoming a beacon, magnificent ram, when the light that has been building and refining itself throughout 2026 achieves such intensity and purity that it becomes impossible to extinguish, no matter how deep the darkness or how fierce the storms that rage around it. The eternal star that burns within your being during these final months of 2026 is not the flickering candle of hope that gutters in strong winds. nor the dramatic firework that blazes brightly for a moment before fading into memory. This is the nuclear fire at the heart of distant suns, the primal flame that existed before the world was formed and will continue burning long after current forms dissolve back into the cosmic ocean from which they emerged. Your ram's light has achieved the status of a fixed star in the constellation of human possibility, a reference point by which others navigate their own journeys through uncertainty and change. The longest nights of the year become your greatest opportunities to demonstrate the unwavering nature of your inner illumination. While others struggle with seasonal darkness and the approach of winter's challenges, you discover that your light actually grows stronger in contrast to external dimness, burning with increased intensity precisely when it's needed most. The fierce flame that characterizes your eternal star quality doesn't compete with darkness but rather transforms it, using shadow as fuel for even brighter burning. Your professional life during this period of eternal star illumination becomes a lighthouse for entire industries, organizations, and communities that look to you not just for what you can accomplish but for the steady guidance and inspiring example you provide through your consistent excellence and unwavering commitment to your highest standards. The light you cast doesn't just illuminate your own path but creates safe passage for others who are navigating treacherous waters or uncertain territories. Projects and initiatives that you guide during these closing months of 2026 carry the signature of eternal star quality. They don't just succeed but create lasting positive impact that continues generating value and inspiration long after their initial completion. The fierce light of your involvement transforms temporary achievements into permanent contributions that become part of the infrastructure supporting future success for yourself and countless others. Leadership opportunities that present themselves during the eternal star period require not just the ability to charge ahead or break through barriers, but the wisdom to provide steady guidance through prolonged challenges, the strength to maintain vision when others lose sight of possibilities, and the grace to burn brightly enough to inspire hope without creating dependence or overshadowing others' developing flames. Financial abundance during the winter star period flows with the reliability of celestial mechanics, guided by the same universal principles that keep planets in their orbits and seasons in their cycles. The light you've become attracts prosperity not through desperate seeking or aggressive acquisition but through the natural magnetism of someone who has achieved the rare combination of powerful capability and absolute trustworthiness. Investment opportunities and business partnerships that emerge during this period often involve long-term ventures that will continue generating value for years or even decades to come, reflecting the eternal quality of the star you've become and the lasting nature of everything you now choose to illuminate with your fierce light. Personal relationships during the eternal star period take on qualities of profound depth and lasting commitment that transcend the temporary attractions and surface connections that may have characterized earlier phases of your development. People are drawn not just to your energy or accomplishments but to the steady reliability of your authentic presence and the inspiring example of someone who has learned to maintain their light regardless of external circumstances. If you're in a committed relationship, your partnership becomes itself a source of light for others, an example of what becomes possible when two people learn to support each other's brightest burning while maintaining their individual authenticity and power. The eternal star quality of your love creates ripple effects that strengthen and inspire other relationships in your extended network of family and friends. Single Aries burning as eternal stars during this period attract potential partners who are themselves sources of steady light rather than those seeking to borrow illumination from others. These connections carry the potential for relationships that don't just provide mutual comfort or satisfaction but actually increase both parties' capacity to serve as beacons of possibility and hope for others. The fierce burning that characterizes your eternal star quality during these winter months also transforms your relationship with challenges, setbacks, and obstacles that would have overwhelmed earlier versions of yourself. The light that burns within you now is so established and well-fueled that it can transform any darkness it encounters into additional fuel for even brighter burning. Your physical presence during the eternal star period carries the unmistakable aura of someone who has achieved mastery not just over external circumstances but over their own internal states and reactions. The fierce light that burns within you expresses itself through every gesture, every word, every interaction in ways that leave lasting positive impressions on everyone you encounter. Health and vitality during this period reach sustainable peaks that don't depend on external conditions or temporary optimizations but rather flow from the deep well-being that comes from complete alignment between your authentic nature and your daily expression of that nature. The eternal star quality of your energy creates optimal conditions for physical health, mental clarity, and emotional stability. Creative endeavors during the winter star period produce work that carries the signature of timeless quality. Art that doesn't just reflect current trends or temporary interests but speaks to eternal themes and universal experiences that will remain relevant across cultures and generations. The fierce light that flows through your creative expression transforms whatever medium you choose into a vehicle for lasting beauty and meaning. The eternal star that burns within your creative work also serves as inspiration for others who are seeking to express their own authentic visions despite opposition, indifference, or discouragement from those who cannot see or understand what's trying to be born through their efforts. Spiritual insights during the eternal star period arrive with the authority of direct revelation rather than borrowed wisdom. Understanding that comes not from reading about truth but from having become a living expression of it. The fierce light that burns within your being creates direct connection with the source of all light, all truth, all possibility, making your spiritual practice less about seeking and more about expressing what you've already found. Your relationship with the sacred during these closing months of 2026 takes on qualities of partnership and co-creation, with your eternal star quality making you a conscious collaborator in the cosmic processes of illumination, inspiration, and transformation that are constantly working to elevate human consciousness and expand possibilities for positive change. Travel opportunities that arise during the eternal star period often involve sharing your light with communities and individuals who specifically need the kind of illumination and inspiration you've learned to provide. These journeys become forms of service as much as personal adventure, opportunities to plant seeds of possibility in places where they're most needed and most likely to grow. Learning and teaching during the winter star period become increasingly integrated activities, with every new understanding you gain naturally flowing into wisdom you can share with others who are at earlier stages of similar journeys. The eternal star quality of your development creates natural teaching opportunities that serve others while continuing to expand your own growth and understanding. Mentoring relationships that develop during this period often involve mutual learning despite apparent differences in experience or achievement levels, as the fierce light you've learned to maintain creates conditions where everyone involved can discover and express aspects of their own eternal star potential. As 2026 draws toward its close, the eternal star that has been burning with increasing intensity throughout these final months doesn't dim but rather prepares for the next phase of its cosmic journey, ready to provide guidance and inspiration through whatever challenges and opportunities the coming year may bring. This is the ultimate gift of your winter star period. The recognition that you have become a permanent source of light in the world, someone whose fierce flame burns not just for personal benefit but for the illumination of human possibility itself, a living demonstration that ordinary individuals can become extraordinary beacons when they're willing to fuel their inner fires with authenticity, purpose, and unwavering commitment to their highest potential.